It's nice to be joined by Chris Sheldon, and he's a former investigator. He's with a ministry now and doing some things to help out, raise awareness for missing kids, kids in trouble, things like that. And he stopped through Farmington in the area in order to help raise that awareness, do some rallies, things like that. And Chris, what are you passing through doing? Let us know what you're up to here.
Well, thank you very much for having me here today. It's a huge honor. I really appreciate it. And you get to share in any good that we accomplish, so thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet.
I'm actually on my way through today. We're going to be stopping in the inner city in St. Louis. I've been invited to be a part of a street ministry there tonight, reaching out to men on the streets. And I didn't want to go through there without stopping in here and saying hi. So thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Fill us in a little bit about you're in a street ministry. You said you're reaching out to men on the streets. What's that mean?
Well, actually, tonight we're going to be doing street ministry to people that a lot of these folks are going to be homeless, and a lot of times they're not just homeless; they don't have any hope left. And so we're going to be out there sharing that there is hope. We're going to be trying to point them in a direction where they can get help and where we can get them turned back to the Lord, restored. One of the biggest problems, I spent 10 years working in child protective services as an investigator, and I just realized the biggest problem we have is men not being husbands and fathers today. But today, they haven't been raised to be. We have a terrible problem out there with broken homes. Today, we now know that in America, sadly, more children are born out of wedlock than in. We know that of those children, a third of them will not have any father involvement at all in the home. We know that those homes are going to be more prone to poverty, problems with the law, problems with drugs, problems with premarital sex. And to me, the biggest thing we have to do is we've got to get men back to being husbands and fathers. And, the way you do that is you've got to get out there on the streets, you've got to lead them to the Lord, and then you've got to disciple them back up and show them that they can be those kind of people. They want to be. Just a lot of them have given up hope.
So what's the group in St. Louis you're going to be working with?
I'm going to be working with Richard Jones. Richard Jones has a street ministry down there. He's a very talented artist. He's actually done a lot of the artwork for some of the famous ministers. If I mention their names, people would recognize seeing some of his artwork on stage. But he's got an inner city street ministry, and he invited me to come on out and spend some time with him. He's affiliated with the same church that I'm affiliated with through former ordination.
Okay, and you're from Arkansas, right?
Yes, I live in northeast Arkansas. I actually joined the Army out of high school, served as an infantry squad leader, and I was recruited to be a counterintelligence special agent, worked out of Washington, D.C. for 5 years in counterterrorism. And I realized that I personally couldn't be the kind of husband and father that I wanted to be, traveling 30,000 flight miles a year. So I resigned, and we moved back to northeast Arkansas to raise my son near grandparents.
Oh, well, that's nice. Nice to hear. And so what do you do there now?
Well, I'm the pastor of Reach Out Christ Kingdom Ministries, and we're an outreach ministry. We're not a church. But one of the things I realized was reaching out to men is a lot of times they weren't comfortable going to a traditional church. They felt they didn't have the kind of clothes, or they had the tattoos, or the problem with the law. And so we had to reach out to them where they were. And we started reaching out to folks where we could lead them to the Lord and disciple them up, and then funnel them back to a mainstream church where they could continue to grow and go back and be the kind of family men they need to be.
Okay. You've written a book. What's it about?
We've written a book called It's Okay, You're With My Father, a child abuse investigator's call to the church. And shortly after God put it on my heart to go to ministry school and start the ministry, he put the book on my heart. And it's a series of cases that I was actually involved in as an investigator. And we don't identify anybody, and I don't get real graphic, but I talked about some cases where we could reach out to the church, because there's an incredible opportunity for the church today.
I mean, are you talking about any church?
Any church, and I don't know whether they don't realize the problem's as bad as it is, or they don't think maybe they can't get involved and make a difference. But my whole book, the whole purpose of it was to point the church to say, hey, if every Christian will do what they can do where they're at, and if every church will do what they can do where they're at, we can solve these problems. And I've been very fortunate because of my background as a child abuse investigator. I handled a couple of higher profile cases. We've been getting a lot of support from law enforcement and our legislatures and the media, so I really appreciate that.
And when you say solve these problems, what are you referring to?
Well, again, the biggest problem is I think everything goes back down to the breakdown of the family. And if we can get men, if we can reach out to men specifically, and if we can get men being the kind of men they're supposed to be and the kind of husbands and fathers, that's going to fix the families. And if we fix the families, that's going to fix the communities. And that's going to fix the bigger problems, too.
Have you been through here before?
No, actually, this is my first time through.
Yeah.
But like I say, it was so nice here. I didn't want to be coming through and not stop and say hi. I'm really grateful I did. I really appreciate you.
Well, you talked about an affiliation that you have with Meadowlark Lemon. How'd that come about?
It's funny. The person that wrote the foreword in my book, and I didn't know this at the time, they had written an endorsement in Meadowlark Lemon's book, which is a great book, by the way. I recommend anybody get it. Trust Your Next Shot. A lot of people don't realize he had a lot of hardship growing up and served in the military, and really interesting guy. A great book. I highly recommend getting it. But he's an ordained minister now. And I got a phone call, and it was asking if I wanted to meet Meadowlark Lemon. Well, yeah. And I got to tell you, just fell in love with him. Just a great guy. Just the real deal as a minister. And actually, he does quite a bit through here, so I'd highly recommend if anybody has a chance to go out and see Meadowlark Lemon when he's in town, make sure you get there. You will not regret it.
Are you doing anything in our area? I know you're going to St. Louis and kind of just traveling through. Are you just kind of stopping by?
Actually, right now, I'm just going through to St. Louis. I'm meeting with Ronnie Raven tomorrow for lunch, and Ronnie is actually who schedules Meadowlark Lemon when he's in town, so after saying that on the air, maybe I'll be able to come back up next time Meadowlark's in the area.
Yeah. You've got a website, you said, where people can learn more about what you do.
Our website is call2honor.org, and they can see a little bit more about the book, or they can see some of our media appearances. We've been very fortunate to be on a number of television shows now and radio stations, and like I say, I really appreciate all the support.
All right, very good. Well, thanks for stopping by, and all the best to you.
Well, thank you, and God bless you.
All right, Chris Shelton joining us right here on